Hold up. Did you know elite black scholars admitted back in 2004 that most of the Ivy League schools were importing Africans and Caribbeans in order to undermine foundational black Americans? But now when we say it, suddenly we're divisive, xenophobic or worse, Russian bots. So why were they sounding like Dr. Claud Anderson back then? And now they sound like MSNBC interns today. This ain't a new issue, it's an old betrayal. Let's talk about the class of black voices who knew the truth, hid the truth, and now attack the truth, just to keep their seats at Master's table. You are now tuned in to Sincere Love the Godcast. Be sure to like this video, share it on your social media, and hit the subscribe button as well as the notification bell to be reminded whenever we drop new heat. Today's mathematics is Wisdom God. Time to show and prove and let knowledge be born.
And those Africans have to be organized to fight for their liberation. And those Africans have to be organized to fight for their liberation.
Investing and building every day.
We have the easiest way to make money online. As you see over here, there's no MLM, no pyramid scheme, no ads or marketing required, no selling tickets in the streets, and you don't need any labor costs to scale up.
Hey, if you're interested in scaling your ticket business or your business into the millions, like I've done, selling tickets strictly online, 100% online, you'll never catch me out in the streets. Go to thetickettrap.com. Again, thetickettrap.com.
Yo family, real quick, I'm proud to announce the soft launch of Sincere Love to God's new book, From the Womb to Illmatic, a hip-hop inspired blueprint for unlocking your child's inner genius. This ain't your average parenting book, this is for the culture, inspired by Illmatic, built around his own son Seven's early development, and packed with real tools to help parents turn everyday moments into genius-level learning. If you've ever wanted to give your child a head start without losing your roots, this book is for you. Available now on Amazon. Order now and leave a 5-star review. You already know, we raising brilliance around here.
All right, here we go. Here we go. Peace, peace, family. What's good? What's good? Welcome to another episode of Sincere Love the Godcast. I am the God, Sincere Love. Back in the house once again with my lovely co-host, Nicety Girl. And yes, indeed, y'all need to make sure that y'all go get that From the Womb to Illmatic, my new book, which is, what was that? So show it back again.
Oh, that was the barcode.
Oh, yeah, the barcode.
The barcode.
Yeah, the barcode is right there on your screen. So go ahead and get that book off of Amazon. It's available now. From the Womb to Illmatic, a hip-hop inspired blueprint for unlocking your child's inner genius. A lot of good feedback on the book, man. People really love the book.
Love that.
I've been getting a lot of good suggestions about some of the things that I need to do, to get the book out there and stuff like that. But people are really loving the book. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to everybody who supported it so far. If you haven't got the book already, it's available on Amazon. You can scan the code on your screen right now and go ahead and get that. But what's going on with y'all?
What's good? I see Jesse Paris in the building. What's good? Happy Sunday.
Yes, indeed. Happy Sunday, everybody. And welcome back, my lovely co-host, Nicety Girl. She was absent.
Oh, yeah. I forgot I went to that reparations situation last Sunday with Denise Danae, I'm sorry. It was really good. It was a great
Reparations and
turnout.
relaxation.
Reparations and relaxation. I had my first sound, bath experience. It's an experience, and I don't know how to explain it, but she explained it to me. When you're feeling, I guess, the vibrations in certain areas, those are could be areas that that your chakras could be
Blockage.
effective blockages. Yeah. And
Mhm.
for me, a lot of people said they felt it in their stomach. For me, it was like more in my chest.
Really?
Hmm.
Really?
For me, it was
Okay.
up in here. Yeah. So she explained it, but first, it took me a while to just relax. I'm nosy. Like, I'm like, we in the backyard. I'm looking around. Like, you have to really just take yourself there, just to relax. And I was just like, you know what? Enjoy this experience. Get the experience. You know what I'm saying? So once I allowed myself, and it took probably a good 15, 20 minutes for me to really, just really relax into it. And once I did it, I started to feel it. And I understand why it's a thing. Most of the people there had already experienced it before.
Okay.
Then she swears that she's new to this, but I say she's true to this. And it could be my first experience. I don't know. But I thought it was great because I allowed myself really, really to, you know, embrace myself into the moment and to feeling what I'm supposed to feel and understanding it. And I would definitely do it again. And yeah, I enjoyed the reparations thing. Of course, our California chair of reparations, Camila Moore, was there. Tiffany Quells was there. A white Republican.
Well, oh
He's
yeah, I want to hear about that. Yeah.
a white Republican who says that he's pro reparations. His name is Keith. I don't have his card in front of me, but his name is Keith. He was there. He says that he's pro reparations. Um, he had it on his business card. However, I did go to his website and I didn't see it anywhere on
Okay. Uh,
there.
is he running for
So,
something?
huh?
Is he running for something? Is he running for
Yeah,
office or
he's running
something?
for I think district. I can't remember if it was District 52 or District 54 in LA area, but closer to Beverly Hills, um, West LA and things like that. He says it covers some of the Leimert Park area and certain parts of Inglewood, but it ain't what we at for the most part. But yeah, I definitely checked him out. I was like, let me make sure I go to his website once I left, the event. And yes, he does have it. It says pro reparations on the back of his business card, but nowhere on his website was reparations even mentioned.
Okay.
But
Interesting.
he said that day he had went to a few churches. So he's making his way around some of the black, spaces and stuff like that, I guess, to get his name out there. Maybe the ear hustle, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But again, he says that for him, reparations is not reparations unless it's cash. So he was saying,
Cash for
some of
who?
the talking. Huh?
Cash for who?
He's lineage based. He says that he's lineage based. He understands why we have to be that way. Otherwise, he understands the reason why we're focused on lineage based reparations. However, if you're pro reparations, I need to see that all over your platform, not just on your business card. Because if it's not on your actual platform, on your website, then who are you pandering to?
Right.
You know what
Right.
I'm saying? So it just made no sense. And at first he said that he was not for cash reparations because he was just like, where's the money going to come from? And I was like, I have a problem with that right there.
Oh Jesus.
I was like, I don't hear you, your people, and everybody, even Camila, we addressed him respectfully. However, when we're talking about your people, that includes you, so that's how it was addressed. Um, when it comes to foundational Black American, the freedmen community, all of a sudden we become bankers. You know what I'm saying? We become economists and all these things only when it comes to Black people. And your people do not raise as much hell as they do about these illegal aliens coming over here getting earmarked unearned benefits. I don't
Right.
hear the same smoke,
Right.
and so he was more just like, listening and stuff like that. And then went through me. He had on some Air Force Ones with the red, black, and green in them, y'all.
Oh, I ain't even peeped the red, black, and green. But when
Eh?
you sent
Yeah,
you sent me the picture, I was
yeah,
live last week when you sent me the picture. I was showing the family. I'm like, I don't know who this white dude is, but some white dude in there with a suit on and a pair of Jordan ones,
right.
looking like a NBA commentator.
Right. With the red, black, and green, though.
I ain't peeped that.
Yeah, you gonna have to come with the red, white, and blue talking to me, So you gotta come with the red, white, and blues. But otherwise, it was a great event. I hope that she puts on more. Um, I feel like every time I get with the ladies, and there was some gentlemen there too, some that have been to the Hidden History Museum. I didn't realize I met, some of the guys, at the Hidden History Museum, but they showed up in support as well. And what was I gonna say? Um, 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 I forgot. I just literally lost my train of thought, y'all.
well, you,
Oh,
well,
I learned something new, history about LA, that I didn't know, and I guess the more research that the reparationists and stuff like that are doing, for our justice claim here in California, which it should be federal, obviously, but starting here. Um, just a lot of communities, I'm saying, a lot of people who it was one called Sugarland or Sugar something, Sugar Hill, right here. They ran the 10 freeway through that community, um, not far from the Hidden History Museum. I did not realize when I'm on the 10 freeway that I'm running through or driving on
that
another
sound.
thriving
I think I might have
Black
heard Dewan
community.
B speak on that. I think I might have heard Dewan B speak
Yeah.
on that. Yeah.
It's crazy how a lot of stuff that we don't know. And I'm native here. I'm native here and didn't know.
Right. Right. Yeah, man. All right. So yeah, I'm glad you got to go to that event, man.
Yeah.
That's dope. You know what I'm saying? Grassroots is still, keeping the foot
Yeah.
on the necks of these folks, letting them know what it is out here, not going for no type of symbolism, no type of punk
No.
fakes or nothing like that. Still making our justice claim and our demand for reparations and all of that. And so that's what's up.
He said, hell no, not a Timu. What was that?
Ernie
Timu
Johnson
Ernie
Jr.
Johnson
Right.
Jr.
Right,
Right.
right, right. Exactly. 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 Shout out to Black Voltron Reloaded in the building. Some chick
What's
named
up, T?
Star in the
Hey,
building.
cousin.
Are good moderators in the building. Y'all make sure y'all pay attention to the links that are dropped in the chat throughout the broadcast. They're showing you different ways you can support the broadcast and other important information as well. So y'all make sure y'all pay attention to what's going on with the moderators in the chat. Go ahead.
Oh, one more thing. Last week there was a like a town hall at CSU. Me and a lot of the reparationists, Camila, Tiffany, Billions Godson, everybody basically was trying to, for those that couldn't get there and show up in person, we were all calling, to give our, spiel on where. So basically what they're doing is allocating, or they have allocated some funds to CSU, California State University, right? But there's no overhead on where those funds are supposed to be. And it's supposed to be reparations, right? Or to study reparations, lineage, and stuff like that. But they have no genealogy, you know, department. It doesn't say where those funds, and I believe it's $12 million or 6 million here and 6 million somewhere else. So that's 6 million. There's no overhead on where that money should go. So basically, we all got on the call, to make sure that our voices were heard and state that we do not want, that money just going to, anyone. It should specifically either go to scholarships, for foundational Black Americans within Cal State University, or it has to benefit Black Americans, period, point blank. So we all did that right when it was my turn, you guys, to get on there. You get onto the Zoom thing. It's this little message board that they have coming up. They ask you to put your name and stuff like that. I do all of that. Right when it's time for me to get up and speak, why I get this error message saying you cannot go on live because it says something about me being logged on twice, which I wasn't.
Mm.
And everybody was like, they're texting me like, hey, I heard them call your name, and so I'm screenshotting Tiffany my the error messages and stuff like that, and she's like, oh my god, like really? Like right when it was time for me to get up. Everybody else got on fine, but when it was time for me, I couldn't speak.
Crazy.
Crazy.
Crazy. Sabotage.
Yes.
Uh-huh. What was I gonna say? Yeah, speaking of, colleges and universities and all of that, that goes with what we're gonna be talking about today, man.
Yes.
There's a lot we could talk about as far as current events and stuff like that. There's a lot going on out here. But today's topic, man, we're gonna focus on an article in the New York Times from
Yes.
2004. Over 21 years ago, there was an article in the New York Times with the headline, Top Colleges Take More Blacks, but which ones?
Which ones?
So they were asking this question all the way back in 2004, 21 years ago. And so we're gonna go through this pretty much the entire article with the family and break it down for y'all. And hopefully we get a chance to talk about some of the other things that's going on. So before we do get to that main topic, I do want to give a couple of shout outs. Y'all know I'm a big boxing fan, but there's a couple of big fights
Oh
this past
yeah.
weekend. First of all, shout out to my brother Elijah Pierce,
You
Elijah the
got to
Wolf
knock out.
Pierce. Yes, indeed. He won another world title this past Friday. It was a tough fight for him. In the early rounds and all of that. He got knocked down in the early rounds, and he came back and put the beats on this boy. Got him
Wolf
out of there.
gang.
Got him out of there in the ninth round. Salute to my bro, the Wolf, Elijah
Wolf
Pierce.
man.
He's like
Yes.
he's like number 2 or 3 in the world right now in his weight class too. So they talking about some big fights coming up for him, some big opportunities coming up for him.
Good.
And so super proud of my bro doing
Shout
his
out to
thing.
him.
He came out, he had his daughter performing on the walkout with him. You know what I'm saying?
Aw.
I thought that was real fly. You know what I'm saying? He always does stuff in style. Even when it comes to the
Right.
weigh-ins and stuff like that, he always got some he's very entertaining brother. You know what I'm saying? He know how to put on a show inside the ring and outside the ring. So salute to him. And Clarissa Shields.
Yes. I watched that one.
Oh, you saw it.
I did. I watched that one.
Yes, indeed. Clarissa Shields got another win last night. Last night, right? Yeah, that was last
Yeah,
night.
that was last night. Yeah. Yeah, she was taking a lot of body shots. I was like, she over here tearing this girl guts up over here.
Mm,
I was looking for her, to knock her down. Obviously, we wanted to, and I was over here shouting at the TV like I was crazy, like she could really hear me,
right.
But
That's
I
how it
knew
be.
she won. I knew damn well that girl felt everything. Like you could see the power. I was saying, ouch. I was like, yeah, she was tearing her body up though.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And so, yeah, man. Hats off to her, man. She's the GOAT. She's the GOAT, man. She keeps winning. She can't be beat. You know what I'm saying?
No,
It's really nobody left for her to fight. And that's why they talking about this Layla Ali matchup. You know what I'm saying? Which a lot of people is like, she too old, this, that, and the third.
I
Why,
don't believe
why,
that.
why don't she just respect her elders? This, that, and the third. But really, that's still the biggest fight in women's boxing if they was to make it
Mhm.
happen. You know what I'm saying? And that would be
In
a
a bag.
big bag for both of them. Biggest bag that they could possibly get in the
Yes.
sport is them going against each other. You know what I'm saying? I definitely would be tuning in to see it. I'm a fan of both women. They're both great fighters. They both have had great careers and all of that. Obviously, Layla been out the ring for a long time, but I'm hearing behind the scenes that she has been training for the past 2
Mhm.
years. That she has been training. So I don't know. It could be interesting.
It could definitely be interesting. Now, with that being said, like obviously we're Clarissa fans. We're actually fans of both of those ladies. But if you had to put your money on one of those ladies, who's it gonna be and why?
It's going to be the GOAT Clarissa Shields, and the reason why is because I think obviously the youth is on her side. You know what I'm saying? She's in her prime right now. Again, Layla Ali hasn't been in the ring in I don't know over 15 years, something like that. So she got that working against her. And also the main thing that I think Clarissa got in her favor is she comes into the ring with a certain chip on her shoulder that Layla Ali just never had to really have. Layla Ali is very talented.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying? She's very talented, highly skilled and powerful. You know what I'm saying? She's a power puncher and all of that too. But that chip that Clarissa got on her shoulder, like she always got something to prove, even with all her accomplishments, she never gets her proper respect as the GOAT. You know what I'm saying? She done out accomplished every woman and most men throughout in boxing. You know what I'm saying? She's undisputed in multiple weight classes. She won multiple gold medals at the Olympics. She done did it all. You know what I'm saying? And you know, they still don't give her props. If this was a white woman that had this amount of accomplishments under her belt, or any non-black woman that had this amount of accomplishments under her belt, she would be all over the place. You would not be able to miss this woman. There's people that don't even know who Clarissa Shields is.
Which is weird to me, and I see a lot of the videos that I was watching up to the fight yesterday, and a lot of the commentary is based on her attitude, how people dislike, her quote unquote cockiness, and I'm like, well, if she's not going to be cocky, who's going to be there for her?
She has to be that way.
She has to be that.
She has to be that way. Remember when Ronda Rousey won a couple of fights in the UFC? Man, they made action figures out of her. She was in video games. She was in movies. She was everywhere. She had all type of endorsements and all that.
Till she got her ass beat by that Brazilian.
Right. She got her ass beat before that too.
Right. And then went to the WWE. Now she in the WWE where it's fake.
Right. Right. And this is what I'm saying. Clarissa doesn't get none of that.
None of that.
She doesn't get none of that. So if she don't pop her own collar, then her entire career and legacy will go damn near unnoticed. So I ain't mad at her. You know what I'm saying? She's doing what she got to do. The venue was sold out.
Sold out
over 15,000 seats.
300 and something seats sold out.
Yeah. So she's doing what she got to do. You know what I mean? Much respect to her.
What about
I definitely got her beating Layla Ali if that goes down.
Do you like her and Pap as a couple?
Do I like? If she like it, I love it. Shit, it ain't got nothing to do with me.
I mean, like, let me just say this.
Hopefully, it's all the way that it looks.
I like it because I feel like, to be honest, she respects him.
I like that. I do like that.
That's what I feel like.
She shows him a lot of respect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's always like, saying how, his support, for her, how he builds her up, encourages her and stuff like that. So I imagine, I feel like she gives him that back versus obviously when he was in his previous marriage, not to shit on it because of the stuff that she did, but I feel like it was always about her and never about the man that he was in her life too. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I like to see how, she celebrates him and give him that.
Yeah, that's dope. I like that. I like that as well. You know what I'm saying? And that also shows that she really is humble. She's a humble person. Like I met her before. Like she's cool. Right. She's down to earth. You know what I'm saying? So all of this cocky talk and all of that stuff that they be trying to say, this is just her doing what she got to do to put them asses in them seats. You know what I'm saying?
Period. So, well, Pep said that last night. He said AIS, and she was like, "What's that?" And he said asses and seats. They were celebrating like him with the family. Yeah.
Right. Asses and goddamn seats. She doing that.
Yeah.
So definitely salute to her. You know what I'm saying? So let's get into what we talking about today, family. By the way, I ain't even remind y'all, I should say, make sure y'all hit the like button.
Right.
Hit the like button. Share this out on your social media platforms. Let everybody know that we live right now. It's about to go down. We about to break this article down right now. So share this out. Let everybody know that we live. If you're not already subscribed, make sure you hit the subscribe button as well as the notification bell so you can be reminded whenever we drop new content here on Sincere Love the Godcast. All right. So I came across this this clip from this Reaganomics forum. What was the name of the forum that they was at? The Reagan Foundation. They had some type of economic forum, and this guy was speaking. I seen a clip of it on Instagram, and he was talking about how these Ivy League schools were importing Africans to fill their DEI quotas and their affirmative action quotas so that they would not just the universities, but also the corporations. They were actually importing Africans and Caribbeans to fill these quotas so that they wouldn't have to hire us and give us admission into these universities and stuff like that. And we all know why, but that's what we're going to be getting into today. So I reposted it. It went viral. It went all over the place. I ain't even expected to move like that, but it moved immediately as soon as I posted it. And there's a lot of people in the comments talking dumb shit. And so we're going to talk about all of that too as well. And so I'm going to show y'all the clip and give y'all the full context of the clip as well, because the conversation wasn't really about us. You know what I'm saying? Because I seen a lot of people in the comments saying, oh, y'all listening to this white man. He's just trying to draw a division between, the blacks and the Africans and all of this other stuff. Hold on. Let me get this right. How we do this? Is it this one? Nah, not that one. How we do this when we share the screen? Let me see.
Yeah, listen. We're using a new thing, y'all. So it's not StreamYard anymore.
No, I don't like that
That's
one.
showing. I see it on the screen.
I know. I'm just trying to get the format, the best format for us to.
Oh, there we go.
Chop it up.
What
about that one?
I see me.
What about that one? Is that one cool? Let me
Yeah, we're at the bottom.
Let me blow the screen up.
There we are. But we're all like equally the same size. I don't know if you want that one to be bigger. There we go. That's better.
Like this, right?
Yeah, I think that's better.
This one is better. Let me put this one on this side because it just looks weird to me.
All my forehead up in there.
Oh, I got to do it that way. Okay. Well, all right. We got to rock with it like this. So yeah, this is the video from the clip that I posted, but I'm going to post it with more context than the actual clip that I posted on my Instagram, because like I said, people were in the comments talking about, oh, this white man just trying to draw division between the Black Americans and the Africans and Caribbeans and so on and so forth. But that's not even what he was talking about in this conversation. He just kind of threw that out there. They really was advocating for white people being affected by the DEI rollbacks. This was really what his overall talk was about. He was talking about how them rolling back the DEI and all of this stuff is really going to affect the average white person. And this is the elite white people, undermining everybody. And so he kind of just threw out there how it actually affects foundational Black Americans specifically. That was kind of just something he threw out there. That wasn't what his conversation was about. But let me play some of this video right here. Fair use, by the way, YouTube, fair use. And I got to be careful because some ads might pop up. So let me just make sure I got my finger on the trigger. All right, check it out.
And look, 1925 to 1970, you could argue it would have grown faster with higher immigration, but they grew a lot faster than we've grown, right? And so, I do think there is this, like, if you have AI, if you have advanced high productivity growth, if you have
oh yeah, and that was really what the main topic was about. Whose jobs AI is coming to take. The DEI and the affirmative action thing was part of the conversation also, but it was really about the effects of AI. You know what I'm saying? Because they were talking about how AI is taking away a lot of low skilled jobs, but he said it's also going to take away a lot of high paying jobs and high skilled jobs that are not going to be needed. So that's what the context of the conversation was. But listen,
lots of robots running around. I do think there is a question of exactly how much low skilled labor you need in the country, which bears on a lot of the immigration debates. The high skilled immigration debate is the one that's coming, and it's not really top of mind right now, but it's the one that's coming. And the reason it's coming is because, look, we need talent, of course, to build all the AI, build all the robots, to do all these things, and you see this in the debates around the universities, with the move that the administration is doing on foreign students and so forth. And there's this kind of very one-sided argument that's happening on that right now, which is you kind of need a limited high-skilled immigration from the rest of the world, or you're not going to have like the smart people building stuff here. And I would say, look, like.
So he's saying we can't just get rid of all the immigrants. He's saying we actually need some of these immigrants to do some of this high-skilled labor. This is what his advocacy is for and about.
Mhm.
It's about us. So for the people out there saying, oh, this white man just trying to draw division and why y'all listening to him, he wasn't even talking about us. We're just paying attention to little tidbit that he threw out there. You know what I'm saying? And we went and did the research behind what he was saying also. So we got the receipts. We're going to get into that.
Joe, our portfolio at our firm is like the United Nations. It's founders from 100 countries. I benefited enormously by working in a place characterized by very high skilled immigration.
And by the way, let me speed this up. Let me speed up the playback. Boom. That should be better.
The thing that's really coming to roost, though, is sort of this fundamental issue, which kind of nobody wants to talk about, but I've started to talk about, which is it's the intersection of DEI and immigration that has really, I think, warped.
So the intersection of DEI and immigration. Now is where he's going to get into the part that people are been going crazy about what we were posting.
I think our perceptions on high skilled immigration over the last 50 years, which basically, and you see this, by the way, in like this, you look at like the foreign enrollment rates of the top universities, which went from like 2 or 3 or 4% 50 years ago to whatever 27 or 30 or 50.
Columbia's over half, right?
70% or whatever it is. And so there's been this massive transformation in who gets educated, and then there's been this massive transformation of who gets admitted through affirmative action, and then as we now know at DEI. And again, this goes straight to the political divide in the country, which is if you're a family, if you're a family, if you're parents of a kid where I grew up, and you've got a smart kid, and you think you're going to get them into a top university in this country, like you are fooling yourself. Like there is no chance.
So he's talking about white people,
Right.
He's telling white people, you think just because you got a smart kid that he's going to get into one of these top universities? No chance. No chance. This is the dog whistle that he's putting out there for other white people. It wasn't about us. Just want to make that clear. That's why I keep driving it home.
Right, because they've got their the top universities have a student admissions program that looks like this. It's like DEI for white people, which is the donors and all the fake sports, right? And so
a lot of fake sports.
Like I have a friend who got into.
So when he talk about the part that's DEI for white people, he's talking about these legacy admissions.
Mm-hmm.
So these white kids who ain't really qualified like that, they ain't extra smart like that, but they people got connections, and so they get in through legacy admissions. You know what I'm saying? And they taking up a lot of slots that could go to the white people who actually do have smart kids that deserve that position. It's being taken by these legacy positions because that's their form of DEI.
Right. Or what about the ones, remember that scandal a few years ago where
Right.
those white folks was paying, for spots. A lot of these actors and actresses and stuff like that paying for their kids to get bumped up.
Exactly.
To play varsity croquet, which let me just say is not a sport that we played a lot in rural Wisconsin. And then you've got DEI generally for the other groups, and then you've got this immigration influx. And as a consequence of that, like it is nearly impossible for somebody coming from like a Midwestern or rural background or Southern background to get into the U.S. By the way, this doesn't just affect white people. This also obviously we now see how it's affecting Jewish people. But it actually also affects African Americans in a very interesting way, which is actually both the universities and the corporate employers are literally, this is true, they literally import Africans so that they don't have to hire African Americans because they still count as black. There's a great story. The thing that woke me up to this, there was a story in the New York Times 20 years ago about Harvard. This is a Harvard.
Hold on, before he talks about the New York Times article, I want to make sure y'all heard that. Did y'all hear what he said?
Mm-hmm.
These corporations and universities are quite literally, importing Africans so that they don't have to hire. He said African Americans, but he's referring to foundational Black Americans.
Right.
That's what he's referring to. Because we are who the affirmative action and all that stuff was intended for.
Right.
We were the intended recipients, but we let them use this ambiguous language. We didn't delineate. And so they said, okay, well, y'all want Black people? Fine. Come over here, Babatunde. Come over here, Abasola. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so another thing that I hear people saying in the comments, they keep on saying, well, why y'all mad at the Africans? It ain't the Africans that's doing this. It's the white people that's doing this. We know that.
We know.
The Africans, listen, we know, first, we're not mad at Africans. You know what I'm saying? We call out tethers for sure. You know what I'm saying? But the ultimate target is always white supremacy. We understand who's orchestrating all of this. Tethers are useless if there's no system of white supremacy.
Right.
There's no way for them to tether.
I wish they would stop asking us why we mad at Africans and ask the Africans why they mad at us.
Yeah, they try to act like
like
they're being attacked by us.
Right.
As if we're not responding to decades of disrespect.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We just now getting hit again. As we get into this article, you're going to see what was happening in these universities over 20 years ago. We weren't delineating back then.
Nope.
But these foundational Black Americans, the few that got into Harvard at that time, they were. They were already delineating and sounding the alarm. But let's get through this so we can get into it.
It doesn't just affect white people. This also, obviously, we now see how it's affecting Jewish people. But it actually also affects African Americans in a very interesting way, which is actually both the universities and the corporate employers are literally, this is true, they literally import Africans so that they don't have to hire African Americans because they still count as black. There's a great story. The thing that woke me up to this.
They could just hire Africans instead of African Americans because they still count as black.
Yep.
This is why we delineate, family.
Exactly.
This is why we demand specificity. This is exactly why. This is the whole entire reason for the conversation. It's not no diaspora war. It's not hating on Africans and Caribbeans. It ain't about none of that. It's about not allowing them to do shit like this.
Exactly. And that's why they mad, because we have delineated, because they can't do it anymore.
Right.
Not without any noise being made.
Right. This is the reason why they're upset with us delineating, because they have benefited from the flat blackness, from us just being ambiguous and just blending in with as one big Negro. They have benefited from that. And they know that they benefit from that. They know that these scholarships and all of this shit not supposed to be for them, but they the first in line, though. And what do they always say? What do they always say? Oh, first of all, they claim that they work hard. Meanwhile, you got shit like this happening. You know, they're giving y'all priority because why? Because they know that y'all not gonna buck the system.
Right. You safe Negroes.
Right. What they understand is foundational Black Americans, we are the only group that if we are in a healthy economic position, that is a threat to the system. You know what I'm saying? Elevating these other groups and allowing them to have upward mobility and all of that, it's not a threat to the status quo, because they don't have a problem with the status quo. Nope. They cool with it. But they understand that we're the ones that's dissatisfied. We're the ones that's going to use those resources to fight against them. So they have to, by all means, deprive us of resources at large. You know, they can let one or two Michael Jordans and Oprah Winfrey's come up, but as a group, they cannot allow us to be in a position of stability, because that is the only threat to the status quo.
There was a story in the New York Times 20 years ago about Harvard. This Harvard admits, Black students, but which ones? Back when the New York Times could talk about these things honestly. And it quoted actually Henry Louis Gates and Lonnie Guinier at the time at Harvard Law School, basically observing that African Americans were not benefiting from affirmative action because Harvard had figured out that they can import Nigerians. Right, and again, it's just like, right, the Nigerians are great, they're very smart, they're very productive, it's fantastic. You know, all other things being equal, you'd like to have as many of them in your country, but like, is that really why we're doing, the set-aside programs? And so, like, there is this really fundamental question.
So he's saying, look, this is what they was doing, and it's like nothing against the Africans, but the program wasn't supposed to be for y'all.
At the period.
That's it. The program wasn't for y'all. Why are y'all benefiting from a program and y'all didn't go through the struggle? You know what I'm saying? So now let's get into it.
Is his name Mark Anderson?
I don't know this guy's name.
Okay.
I don't know this guy's name. Let me see. To advance economic, fiscal, monetary, American opportunity and prosperity in the context. I don't know this guy's name.
Okay.
For more information, President Reagan. Maybe Ronald Green. I see in the YouTube description there's links for somebody named Ronald Green. I don't know if it's him or the guy that's interviewing him. But this is on YouTube. The title of the video is Fireside Chat, the Case for American Optimism. It was posted about a couple of weeks ago, May 30th. Oh, this is posted on May 30th, 2025. So y'all could go check out the full conversation if you want to. But the part that we're talking about, it starts around the 23-minute mark. So y'all could go check that out. Let me see. Okay. Let me turn this off here for a second. So yeah, now we're going to talk about this New York Times article that he was referring to.
Yep. And it was written by Sarah Reimer.
From the New York Times, yep.
Yeah, 2024 is when it was published.
Yeah.
And
Sarah Reimer and Karen W. Aronson. They wrote this article in 2004, not 2024, 2004. 21 years ago.
And basically, it's a look at the rising numbers of Black students at elite universities, Harvard, Princeton, Columbia, and more. On the surface, this looked like a win. Diversity increasing, Black faces were showing up in Ivy League campuses in great numbers. But when the researchers and educators asking, who are these Black students, the answer raised some more eyebrows. Turns out a number of these were not descendants of American chattel slavery
21 years ago.
21 years ago, y'all.
Okay, we late to the party.
Right. We
Us,
tardy for the party.
us, and the delineation movement. We are late to the party because first of all, everybody else been delineated. Everybody been separated themselves and differentiated themselves from us
Right.
from the beginning.
From the beginning.
From the beginning.
I know Black.
Right. They was never on no one big Negro shit. Not only was they on some we different shit, they was on some we better shit.
Right.
Don't associate me with those Negroes over there. We better, you know. And what makes them think they're better is because they're more acceptable by white people.
Right. Right.
And of course, we're not talking about everybody, but we're talking about as a group.
Right. The mass majority.
This applies to your group, to your culture. Even if it's not you specifically, if you feel some type of way, it might just be you.
Exactly. And you can even go in today's time. This is 21 years ago, but you talk about 2025, you still have them saying, why are you guys blaming the white men?
Right.
They still don't blame white supremacy for anything, even with what's going on in their homeland.
You are absolutely right. Shout out to Mama Love for the super chat.
Thank you, Mama.
Appreciate you. Yeah, you guys can participate in the super chat if you want to support the broadcast, or you can hit the Cash App, $Godcast ENT. All donations are appreciated and respected. But yeah, you're right. One of my clients that I've been cutting for over a decade now, Haitian dude. When I first met him, he was heavy on the coon train. He was going to this white church.
Oh,
you know,
Lord.
he was all the way gone. You know what I'm saying? And you know, we would have conversations when he would come get in the chair and all of that. And he would actually listen and go back and research the things that I was telling him. He would get the books. He was getting Dr. Anderson books and, you know, all the stuff that I was telling him. He would actually follow up and go do his research and come back to the shop like, yo, you was right about this. I never knew that. You know, right. He kind of started getting on board.
Respectable.
Right. He started, you know, showing some respect and be like, okay, I see what y'all talking about. I see what's going on here. And then he went down his own rabbit hole because, you know, like I said, he was in this white church and all of that. So somehow he came across the Hebrew Israelites and he went down that rabbit hole.
Oh, Lord.
You know what I'm saying? Which I don't knock it. You know, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got nothing against it, but he went real heavy down the Hebrew Israelite rabbit hole and he got on that for a long time. But he hit me up a couple of weeks ago and I hadn't seen him in a while because he moved to a different part of town. But he texted me out of nowhere and he's like, yo, why is it that FBAs are always complaining about the white man, but East Indians come over here and they do so well and da. So I don't know who this nigga been listening to since he moved away. But I was like, really, nigga? But I ain't even go back and forth with him about it. But what I'm saying here is us complaining is the reason why the East Indians are over here in the first place.
Right.
It's the reason why all of y'all are able to come over here in the first place because of us complaining about the white man. That's literally the only reason that any of y'all are able to come over here and do anything.
They're replacing us with the non-complainers.
Right.
Dumbass. And it makes sense because as like this article is saying, you know, immigrants from Africa and the Caribbean, children of immigrants from those regions, and biracial students with only one Black parent, often from more privileged backgrounds, are the ones who's getting in these, you know, universities.
Right.
Not foundational Black Americans.
Right. Intentionally, by design.
That's all systemic. All of it is systemic.
By design. They know exactly what they're doing. And the students did their own study on this. This is how the article came about. Foundational Black American students took notice of what was happening, and they did a study on it. And let's go through the article so y'all can see exactly what we're talking about. So, top colleges take more blacks, but which ones? At the most recent reunion of Harvard University's Black alumni, there was lots of pleased talk about the increase in number of Black students at Harvard. But the celebratory mood was broken in one forum when some speakers brought up the thorny issue of exactly who those Black students were. While about 8% or about 530 of Harvard's undergraduates were Black, Louina Garnier, I'm not sure how to say her name, Lonnie Garnier, and she's not an FBA, by the way.
Right, that last name.
But she's telling the truth in this article, though.
Right.
A Harvard law professor and Henry Louis Gates Jr., y'all, out of all people, Henry skipped the damn truth Gates, was delineating. Listen to this shit. The chairman of Harvard's African and African American Studies Department pointed out that the majority of them, perhaps as many as 2/3, were West Indian and African immigrants or their children, or to a lesser extent, children of biracial couples. They said that only about 1/3 of the students were from families in which all 4 grandparents were born in this country, descendants of slaves. Many argued that it was students like these, disadvantaged by the legacy of Jim Crow laws, segregation, and decades of racism, poverty, and inferior schools, who were intended as principal beneficiaries of affirmative action and university admissions. So they're saying, look, Foundational Black Americans is the ones that this program was created for. What are all of these Africans and Caribbeans doing here? And disproportionately, that's the reason why it was a problem. It wasn't a problem because 1 or 2, Africans or Caribbeans were in the mix. It was because the vast majority of these Black students were non-FBAs. FBAs were sprinkled throughout, and they're looking around like, damn, where's our people at?
Right.
Because what was happening, they having conversations, they on campus having conversations and all that, Black folks gonna stick together. Ain't that much Black folks in there, even with the non-FBAs. So they all getting together with the other Black people. And then you got the Africans and Caribbeans asking FBAs, well, where's your family from? They was asking niggas where they family from. And they're like, oh, we from North Carolina. We from Louisiana. And they're like, nah, where's your family from though? Where y'all from?
What tribe? That's what they want to know.
Right. The same type of shit that they be saying now. You know what I'm saying?
What's your language? Because you guys don't have a language. You imagine the experience of those foundational Black Americans even before the delineation was like it is now? The disrespect.
They questioning their entire identity. They secure. Like, nah, we from South Carolina. They like, yeah, but what part of Africa are you from? Nah, we from South Carolina. We've been in South Carolina since 18 so-and-so. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so that's the reason why these students started to do the study. But hold on, let's keep going. What concerned the 2 professors, they said, was that in the high-stakes world of admissions to the most selective colleges, and with it, entry into the country's inner circles of power, wealth, and influence, African-American students whose families have been in America for generations were being left behind. So this is how we get the Joy Reids and the Roland Martins.
Bingo.
And the Barack Obamas.
Right.
And Colin Powell's.
This was the setup. It's been the setup.
You know what I'm saying? This is the reason why it's a problem. You everyday tethers that get on Twitter talking shit and all of that shit, y'all small fries. The reason why this is a problem is because of that right there. These Ivy League schools, the admissions to these Ivy League schools is a pathway into these positions of power. And these positions of power are being given to these non-FBAs to create this illusion of inclusion. Meanwhile, they're just there to maintain the status quo.
Yep.
And we wondering why we're not making no progress. We like, damn, we got all these Black, government officials. We got all these Black senators and this, that, and the third. We got more Black politicians and police chiefs and this, that, and the third than we ever had before, but we still ain't making no progress. What the fuck going on?
In the words of our sister Vicky Didlive, Black looking people.
Right.
You know, they were black looking. They were there to maintain the status quo. They were not on no Dr. Claud Anderson type of vibes at all.
But the funny thing is, when you, as we go through this article, y'all gonna see Skip Gates was sounding kind of like Dr. Anderson. He was making a distinction between native blacks and
right.
melanated immigrants. He was making a distinction, and he was, you know, saying that this was the ramifications of this is going to be a problem in the long run. But obviously, somebody tapped him on the shoulder and told him to shut the hell up and sit down somewhere, because he ain't made no noise about it ever since. But when he first seen what was going on, his common sense was like, "Oh, nah, this ain't right."
Or was it that black people were still Pan-African though? Maybe people, do you think that black people just weren't receptive to it because we're all black?
What do you mean? What do you mean? What's your question?
Meaning, when he was talking like this, were the foundational Black Americans during that time, were they on board with it? Or were they telling him maybe that he was xenophobic, you know, for trying to separate? You don't think so?
No, because this came from the bottom up. It was the students who raised this issue and brought it to him. He's a professor. You know what I'm saying? He's in charge of this department. So they were coming to him with the issue. And he was bringing it to his white paymasters.
And
saying,
they told him,
this is a problem.
Yeah.
And they said, no, ain't no problem. It's going. If we got a problem, you know, we can see about cutting that damn paycheck in half. We got a problem here,
right?
You know what I'm saying?
No, sir.
We got a problem here. Okay, yeah, that little study y'all did, yeah, put that shit in the shredder.
Right.
That little study y'all did, I don't want to hear nothing else about it. And we ain't heard nothing else about it. Let's continue. So he said, African-American students whose families have been in America for generations were being left behind. I just want people to be honest. This is a quote from Professor Gates. I just want people to be honest enough to talk about it. Gates, the Yale-educated son of West Virginia paper mill worker, said recently, reiterating the questions he has been raising since the Black Alumni Weekend last fall. What are the implications of this? He said. Both Professor Gates and Professor Garnier emphasized that this is not about excluding immigrants, whom sociologists describe as highly motivated, self-selected group. Whom sociologists describe as a highly motivated, self-selected group. Blacks, who make up 13% of the United States population, are still underrepresented at Harvard and other selective colleges, they said. The conversation that bubbled up that weekend has continued across campus here and beyond as these professors and others publicly raised painful, complicated questions about race and class and how they play out in elite university admissions. Issues that some educators and Black admissions officers have privately talked about for some time. So they've been talking about this shit. They was just whispering about it.
They was just whispering about it. And I see also in here in the article, Professor Lanny Gunier, who's now passed on, raised concerns about foundational Black Americans being left behind. She said schools were, quote, playing it safe by admitting Black students who are not the descendants of American slaves. And then Henry Lewis, he followed that up by acknowledging that this diversity within Blackness was rarely discussed, but it had real implications for how we think about radical justice.
Right.
And what's the implications?
Right. The implications is us continuing to be disenfranchised and not having a real voice.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And academia, and politics and media. Like, this is what I'm saying. This is not something that was just going on with college admissions. We see this happening across industry. You know what I'm saying? Even in sports. You know what I'm saying? All of the spaces that were historically held by foundational Black Americans, given certain pathways to upward mobility, you see us being slowly displaced and replaced by these foreigners who look like us. You know what I'm saying? This is all systematic. It's not happenstance. It's not because, oh, niggas is lazy and niggas just don't work hard and they come over here and they just more motivated than us, than they smarter than us. No, it's none of that. They literally importing them.
Tethers.
importing them. They got systems in place, little underground railroad, transatlantic railroad systems in place where they go over there and select people to come over here to fill these positions across industries. I don't know what part that was you just read from, though. Should I go down?
I made notes because I couldn't. Just made a few notes. Yeah, I was just making little notes.
All right, cool. Was that it?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So it says there is no consensus on the answers, and since most institutions, hold on, let me go back a little bit. The conversation that bubbled up that weekend has continued across campus here and beyond as these professors and others publicly raise painful and complicated questions about race and class and how they play out in elite university admissions, issues that some educators and Black admissions officers have privately talked about for some time. There is no consensus on the answers, and since most institutions say they do not look into the origins of their Black students, the absence of hard data makes the discussion even more difficult. So they're not keeping track of who's who and where they're from and all of that. So there's no data.
One big Negro.
Right. There's no data to look at. They said y'all said y'all wanted Black people, right? We got Black people. Right. Now shut the hell up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Y'all said we had to let more Black people in. We let more Black people in. Now it's another problem. Go on somewhere. They ain't want to hear nothing. Some educators, including the president of Harvard, Lawrence H. Summers, declined to comment on this issue. Others are divided. The president of Amherst College, Anthony W. Marks, says that colleges should care about the ethnicity of Black students because in overlooking those with predominantly American roots, colleges are missing an opportunity to correct a past injustice. That's a quote.
Reparations now.
And depriving their campuses of voices, quote, voices that are particular to being African American, foundational Black American, with all the historical disadvantages that entails. So they don't have that history. They call it baggage. They say, oh, well, they don't come with the same baggage. They don't have that history and experience to be voices for us, to be spokespersons for us. They can't speak to our experiences. They didn't go through what we went through.
Nope. And it's crazy because I put on here, fast forward to today, this article connects directly to the FBA movement and the push to distinguish between lineage-based justice and broad racial categories. This is what we've been saying recently.
Right. That's what, and that's what I'm saying. Like, this whole delineation movement is late. At least by 20 years.
At least. That's crazy. 21 years.
Right. At least
21 years.
This article came out when my son was born. The president of Amherst College. Okay, But others say there's no reason to take the ancestry of Black students into account. Quote, I don't think it should matter for purposes of admission in higher education, end quote, said Lee C. Bollinger, the president of Columbia University, who, as president of the University of Michigan, fiercely defended its use of affirmative action. Quote, the issue is not origin, but social practices. It matters in American society whether you grow up Black or white. It's that differential effect that really is the basis for affirmative action. So he's trying to say all Black people get discriminated against. So it doesn't matter what your lineage is. This is the same argument that we hear. Well, if I get pulled over by the police on the side of the road,
just gonna say that.
That's the same argument.
Mm-hmm.
Or the cop ain't gonna treat me different because I'm African or because I'm Caribbean. That's the same argument.
If he see them socks and sandals, he know you ain't us. No, that's just period. Them Jesus sandals and socks says a lot. And hairlines.
All right, it's still a lot more to get through with this article. Let's continue. Professor Gates and Garnier cite various sources for their figures about Harvard's Black students, including conversations with administrators and students. A recent Harvard undergraduate honors thesis based on extensive student interviews and the Black Guide to Life at Harvard. Quote, the Black Guide to Life at Harvard, which surveyed 70% of Black undergraduates, and was published last year by the Harvard Black Students Association. So now that's 22 years ago. Researchers at Princeton University and the University of Pennsylvania who have been studying the achievement of minority students at 28 selective colleges. Notice I said minority right there.
Right.
Researchers at Princeton University and the University of Pennsylvania who have been studying the achievements of minority students at 28 selective colleges and universities, including theirs, as well as Yale, Columbia, Duke, and the University of California at Berkeley, found that 41% of Black students identified themselves as immigrant.
Interesting. And that was by design, because on these college applications, it asks you if you, it does ask for your race, ethnicity and stuff like that. But I believe it asks on some of these applications about your immigration status. So if you're asking on here for your race, ethnicity, and you check Black, but there's also a box on there to check yes or no if you're also from an immigrant background. That's today too. So I'm sure it was then.
Yeah,
right?
probably so. But the thing about that is, if you're an American citizen, you're not an immigrant, and that's what a lot of them be trying to run. I'm just as American as you. I'm a citizen here. I'm a Black American too.
How they were able to come up with that number, that 41%, is when they're looking at those admissions applications. Somebody that 41% checked Black and immigrant.
Well, no, they did a survey. They went around asking people.
They went and asked them. Wow.
They was going around asking. It says here. Where is it? And the Black Guide to Life at Harvard surveyed 70% of Black undergraduates and was published last year by Harvard. So they went around asking people, "Hey, where's your family from?"
Well, we asking today.
Exactly. Exactly. They went to all the Black students.
God's work over here.
They went to all the Black students and said, "Hey, where's your family? Where's your grandmama and them from?"
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Literally, we doing God's work.
So where we at? So 41% of Black students identify themselves as immigrants, as children of immigrants, or as mixed race. 41%, y'all.
That's a lot.
That doesn't count the other minorities.
Mm-hmm.
The Latinos and the East Indians and the Asians and all these other people, white women, all these other people that are counted as minorities, that don't even count them. So what percentage of it is foundational Black American? It's not the other 69%, whatever the math is. Douglas S. Macy, a Princeton sociology professor who was one of the researchers, said the Black students from immigrant families and mixed race students represented a larger proportion of the Black students than that in the Black population in the United States generally.
By design.
Andrew A. Beveridge, a sociologist at Queens College, says that among 18 to 25-year-old Blacks nationwide, about 9% describe themselves as of African or West Indian ancestry. Only 9% throughout the country. Right?
I have my education.
Like the Gates and Gonier numbers, these tallies do not include foreign students. So,
you know what I want to know too, that this article really didn't tap into? How many of these foreign Blacks also got school either for free, some type of scholarship, funds that were earmarked for foundational Black Americans that they came and jumped on?
Yeah, they were being recruited to fill these quotas. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so what did he say right there? Describe themselves as African. Oh, he said not to include the foreign students. So you got foreign exchange students who still live in their countries. They're just coming over here to go to school. So they're not even counting them. They're just counting the ones who actually live here. So in the 40 or so years since affirmative action began in higher education, the focus has been on increasing the numbers of Black students at selective colleges, not on their family background. Professor Macy said that the admissions officials he talked to at these colleges seemed surprised by the findings about the Black students. They really didn't, quote, They really didn't have a good idea of what they're getting, he said. But few Black students are surprised. Sheila Adams, a Harvard senior, was born in the South Bronx to a school security officer and a subway token seller, and her family has been in this country for generations. Miss Adams said there were so few Black students like her at Harvard that they had taken to referring to themselves as the descendants.
What is that? What is a descendant? A descendant of what?
No. They were delineating.
No, I'm finna say, wait. Now.
They were delineating. This is why I paused right there. I want y'all to soak that up. Let me read it again. Miss Adams, this is a foundational Black American student. Sheila Adams, a Harvard senior who was born in the Bronx to a school security officer and a subway token seller, and her family has been in this country for generations. She's a foundational Black American.
Black American.
She said there were so few Black students like her at Harvard that they had taken to referring to themselves as the descendants.
Damn. We ain't them.
They had to delineate. They was like, it was only a couple of us. So they had to find their tribe. Oh, you FBA, you FBA, okay.
Right.
Because these other people, they acting weird. I thought we was all Black, but these other people was acting weird. So we got to stick together. We the descendants.
So it further shows how, these schools, that are, bringing in these immigrants, these Black students, they're avoiding dealing with, the systemic harms that were made to foundational Black Americans. So as long as we have these Black faces over here, you know what I'm saying, because they're Black too, we don't have to deal with what was done, the harms that were done to you guys, and we do not have to pay y'all reparations.
That's the entire point.
The entire point. So all performative.
That is the entire point. Y'all really think white folks just like y'all? They just want y'all over here so bad. Y'all, that's what y'all really think?
That's crazy.
That's what y'all really think? The same people that devastated your homeland, scorched the earth over there. The reason why your homeland is in shambles is because of these people. And you think they just like you so much better.
Right. With your musty ass. Shut up.
Okay, the subject, however, remains taboo among some college administrators. Anthony Carnevale, a former vice president at the Educational Testing Service, which develops SAT tests, said colleges were happy to take high-performing Black students from immigrant families. Quote, they found an easy way out, Mr. Carnevale said. The truth is, the higher education community is no longer connected to the civil rights movement. These immigrants represent Horatio Alger, not Brown versus the Board of Education. Somebody, nicely, look that up for me. I meant to look that up.
What was it again?
Horatio Alger, Horatio. Horatio Alger.
Found it.
Okay. What is that about? I meant to look that up.
So Horatio Alger's myth. He's a white man. Hold on.
I want to see what that's about because they're saying they're replacing the people who come from the legacy of Brown versus the Board of Education, the civil rights movement. They don't want to deal with that. And so these people actually represent this Horatio Alger situation. So I'm wondering, was that some type of case that had to do with immigration or something?
He's a white man who believes that his belief is that everyone can achieve success and wealth through hard work, determination, and moral character, regardless of their background. So,
bootstrap.
And this is a white dude. Bootstrap.
Okay, got it. So these immigrants represent Horatio Alger, not Brown versus Board of Education, and that's not even true.
No,
and that's not even true because they're not there just based on merit. You know what I'm saying?
And it goes, so think about what they say. We come over here, we work hard.
Right.
Get what he said, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Now we have a name for this too, you guys.
Talking about they we outperform y'all. Y'all just mad because we
Yeah.
outperform y'all. No, we have to be undermined and held back, and we still get it popping out here. It's nothing that you could name that any of these groups are doing that we haven't done. Nothing. No field of study, of endeavor that we haven't already been there and done that. None. Even in spite of all of this.
I'm starting to call them Heradio Algar people. That's the new name. Every time I hear that, every time I see one on X say that, I'm just gonna follow it up with that name. Every time.
All right, let's continue. Almost from its inception, following the civil rights struggles of the 1960s, affirmative action has been attacked and redefined. That's the reason why Dr. Anderson said, get rid of it.
Right.
Let it go. He said this. He said he wrote one of the first affirmative action plans for education down in Florida, and he said throw it in the trash. It's no good anymore. He said that 35 years ago. All right. In its 1978 Bake decision, the Supreme Court shifted the rationale away from the issues of social justice to the educational value of diversity. Don't we always tell y'all to run when you hear that word diversity?
You hear me? Do you hear me? Run or check it. Check it first, then run. Run them out of there. How about that? That's what we need to start doing. When we hear that word, instead of running away, we need to run at it and check them on that. We don't use that language over here because basically what that word means is to still subjugate or keep Black Americans, foundational Black Americans out the mix.
Right.
Anytime you hear that.
Everybody but y'all niggas. That's what diversity means. You know what I mean? One Black admissions official at a highly selective college said the reluctance of college officials to discuss these issues has helped obscure the scarcity of Black students whose families have been in this country for generations. Quote, if somebody does not start paying attention to those who are not able to make it in, they're going to start drifting further and further behind, end quote, said the official, who declined to be identified because the subject is so charged. You've got to say that the long-term Blacks were either dealt a crooked hand or something is innately wrong with them. And I simply won't accept that there is something innately wrong with us. It got to be one or the other. Either there's something wrong with us or we're being systematically undermined.
I choose number 2. There's nothing wrong with us.
You mean number 1?
Something systematically is being done.
Oh, yeah, I said that second. My bad. Yeah. Exactly. It's only one or the other that can explain this. Either Africans or Caribbeans are just better, or we're being systematically undermined.
We're definitely being systematically undermined, and this is why we stop looking at the so-called Black faces in high places, you know what I'm saying? Because what's the point of getting in the room if you're not going to do anything for your people, specifically foundational Black Americans? And then what we're noticing with a lot of these people that are getting in office, they do not come from the lineage. We still don't know what's that heifer name, Jasmine Crockett, with that wig. We still, don't know too much about this woman with this wig bouncing around here, talking the way she's talking.
Mm-hmm. Mary C. Waters, the chairman of the sociology department at Harvard, who has studied West Indian immigrants, says they are initially more successful than many African Americans for a number of reasons. Since they come from majority Black countries, they are less psychologically handicapped by the stigma of race. In addition, many arrive with higher levels of education and professional experience, and at first, they encounter less discrimination. So let's unpack that. Because what she's saying is true, but it's not in context. So let's unpack that. It says, since they come from majority Black countries, they are less psychologically handicapped by the stigma of race. No, that means since they come from these countries where everybody is Black, they're confused about how white supremacy works.
It works.
It's not that we're psychologically handicapped. It's because we're aware of the system and exactly how it works.
Right.
We know exactly what it is. We know exactly what the problem is. We can get to the root of the matter. These people are confused because they look at the corrupt leaders in their countries and they think it's a black problem, to the point where they worship white people. They think white people are the saviors. And the reason why their country is in shambles is because the government.
Right. And that's why those white people are the ones that's bringing them some rice. Sally Struthers, came over there and fed them. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, they see them as Jesus like.
This is real shit. Y'all can get mad if y'all want to, but hold on a second. I ain't post this video yet, but I got one in the chamber. Hold on. I got one in the chamber.
Got one in the chamber for y'all.
Like literally, hold on. Let me open this up. Open it and play it. People without the white men, this is a common thing over there in Africa. This dude is not an anomaly. Let me turn the volume up. This is a common thing over there in Africa. This is what she's talking about when she says, since they come from majority black countries, they are less psychologically handicapped by the stigma of race. What she means is they are completely colonized psychologically.
Yes. What is he saying?
Can you hear it?
Not good.
Okay, so that's because I got it. I'm trying to put it by the camera so y'all can see it, but I need to put it by the mic, by the microphone so y'all can hear it. So it's a group of white people walking here, and this black African dude said, "You guys need to come help us. Without you, we are nothing." He said, "We are nothing without you. You guys are blessed by God." Listen to this man.
Oh my God.
He said, "For Africa to be Africa, it has to be Europe." How South Africa looks like today. The way the people built in South Africa. He said, "Look at South Africa today. The reason why South Africa looks the way that it looks now is because the white people built it up. Y'all went over there and built it up. Come do the same thing for us."
That is, oh my God.
This is real shit.
This
is real shit.
And sad.
South Africa, just because of you white people, you are a great kingdom. You are blessed by God to be who you are today. He said, "You are blessed by God to be who you are today."
Ish said, "Is that Bushmeat Barrister's daddy?" Is it? Is it? Lord.
So this is what she meant to say. She talking about since they come from majority black countries, they are less psychologically handicapped by the stigma of race. In addition, now let's go to the second part. I think
you
that
gotta
covers
post
that.
this though. You gotta post this.
Thank you, I love you. I want to be somewhere. You go connect me with the black world in America. He said, "You guys are blessed by God to be who you are. Thank you so much. I love you. And I want you to connect me to the black world in America." That's what he said. That's what he said. So when they look at us, some of them that look up to us as the prosperous black people, they give the credit to white people. They think that we are who we are because of our proximity to white people. Mm-hmm. So they like, well, shit, if we get around white people, that could be us. They think white people have blessed us to be the most influential group of people on the planet. That's what they think.
Yeah,
it's insane.
We can't do nothing with that. We can't do nothing with him. That mind is gone. That's a grown man. That's not even a child.
So the second part of what she said, in addition, many arrive with higher levels of education and professional experience. Yes, because they're going over there selecting the best of the best. These are not people like him, right, who was just pissing on the side of the street, shitting on the side of the road, that they're allowing to come over here and get into these higher universities. No, They're selecting people who come from families that already have wealth, that already have 2 professional parents. You know, they come from something. And they're like, okay, we'll take y'all kids over here and let them come to Harvard. And then that's going to be the next Joy Reid. That's going to be the next Barack Obama. You know what I'm saying? Not just in Africa, but all over the place they do this, throughout the Caribbean. You know what I'm saying? This is where you get your Kamala Harris's from and all of that.
And they've been telling us, though, in their own way. They've been telling us, you know, we come over, we get education, we got more education than you. We're the doctors. You know, they throw it in our faces.
Ain't doing nothing new again. And we had to do it against all odds. We had to do it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? All right. Quote, you need a philosophical discussion about what are the aims of affirmative action, Professor Waters said. Quote, if it's about getting black faces at Harvard, then you're doing just fine. If it's about making up for 200 to 500 years of slavery in this country and its aftermath, then you're not doing well at all. And if it's about having diversity that includes African Americans from the South or from the inner city high schools, then you're not doing well with that either.
Wow.
All right. So what is affirmative action really for? Who is it supposed to help?
Foundational Black Americans.
All right. I think we almost done. So even among black scholars, there is a disagreement. Where them black scholars from who's disagreeing? Where they from? There's a disagreement on whether a discussion about the origins of black students is helpful. Orlando Patterson, a Harvard sociologist and West Indian native, said he wished others would let sleeping dogs lie. He like, chill with all this, man. Y'all making too much noise about all this stuff, man. Because he knows he benefits.
Yeah, they selfish. They don't care. They've been at the bottom. They don't need anything else. You know, let them foundational Black Americans continue to struggle.
He's a Harvard sociologist, but he's from West End. He's a West Indian native. So he like, yo, I wish y'all would just let sleeping dogs lie.
Kamala Harris' daddy.
Right, exactly.
Wasn't he a professor? Yeah.
Exactly. He like, chill, man. Y'all gotta let sleeping dogs lie. I mean, trying to get my son up in here. That's what he's talking about. Quote, the doors are wide open as they ever will be for native-born Black middle-class kids to enter the elite colleges, he wrote in an email message. So he's again, what was the name of that guy? Hidalgo, whatever it was?
Yeah, Adler, yep. Mm-hmm.
Horacio Adler, I forgot the name of it, but that's his philosophy.
Yeah,
he said the
doors. The Horacio Adler myth is what they named it. Yeah,
the Horacio Adler myth. The doors are wide open as they ever will be for native-born Black middle-class kids to enter elite colleges. No, it ain't.
No, it's not. Not if you're systemically pushing us out and not giving us the earmarked opportunities that were designed for us and giving it to other people over us. How? We're not being treated fairly at all still. They said
there's also a wide disagreement about what, if anything, should be done about the underrepresentation of African American students whose families have been here for generations. Even Professor Gates, who can trace his ancestry back to the American slaves, and Professor Garnier, whose mother is white and her father immigrated from Jamaica, emphasize different ideas. So hold up, they both had different ideas. What side did Skip Gates fall on? Who's FBA, unfortunately.
Right.
He's quote, I don't know, quote, he said, this is about the kids of recent arrivals beating out Black indigenous middle-class kids, end quote. Professor Gates, who plans to assemble a study group on the subject. Quote, we need to learn what the immigrant kids have so we can bottle it and sell it, because many members of the African American community, particularly among the chronically poor, have lost that sense of purpose and values which produced our generation. So what he's saying is, me and my boule class, we already got in the door.
Right.
So in order for me to secure my position, I'm gonna have to toe this line. I'm gonna have to toe this line because I'm good. My position is secure. I'm already up in here. The rest of you niggas, y'all gonna have to work hard. That's what he's saying.
And when they should have been pulling, like white people do, pulling your own people in. Your
Right.
children, your children's people, your cousin, all that shit.
Right. So Skip Gates wasn't really trying to have this conversation. It was the black students that forced this conversation. And, he tried to play both sides of the fence. You know what I'm saying? He brought it up, but then he goes and says, this is about the kids of recent arrivals beating out black, indigenous, middle-class kids. No, it's not.
They're not, but they're not beating us out because it's not a fair game to begin with.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So it's not beating us out of anything. Put us head to head, they can't win.
He said, we need to learn what the immigrant kids have so we can bottle it and sell it. What they have is systematic white supremacy working on their behalf.
Right.
You want to bottle that and sell it?
And also, do you have a bunch of people who are coming to America where there's electricity and toilet paper?
Right. They grateful. They just grateful to be here. They ain't trying to rock no boat. They don't. They wondering what we complaining about. Nigga, did you shit on a toilet this morning?
Right.
What you complaining about?
Crazy.
But in Professor Garnier's view, now she's white and West Indian. I think her father was Jamaican, or her mother.
The father.
Her father was Jamaican and her mother's white. And she's
not surprising.
In her view, she said there are plenty of other blacks who could also succeed at elite colleges, but the institutions are not doing enough to find them. She's acknowledging the systematic displacement. She said they were overly reliant on measures like SAT scores, which correlate strongly with family and wealth and parental education. You know what I'm saying? So if you come from, generations of college educated parents and grandparents and all of that, you know what I'm saying, you got a better chance. You know what I'm saying? You more equipped. But if you the first generation in your family to go to college, you still trying to figure this shit out. You learning as you go. You know what I'm saying? Colleges and universities are defaulting on their obligation. This is a quote. Colleges and universities are defaulting on their obligation to train and educate a representative group of future leaders, end quote, said Professor Garnier, a Harvard graduate herself, who has been studying college admission practices for more than a decade. Quote, and they are excluding poor and working class whites, not just descendants of slaves. And so that's what the dude in the video was talking about.
Yeah.
That's what the dude in the video was talking about. Okay. Harvard admissions officials say they too are concerned about attracting more lower income students of all races. They plan to spend an additional, listen to this bullshit. They plan to spend an additional $300,000 to $375,000 a year to recruit more low-income students and provide more financial aid to these students. $300,000 to $375,000 for Harvard?
Right.
How many people you gonna help with that?
Right.
A year? How many people you gonna help with that? How many scholarships is that? So this increase, quote, this increases the chances that we will be able to reach into the communities that have not been reached, said William R. Fitzsimmons, a dean of admissions and financial aid. While Harvard officials ignore the ethnic distinctions among their black students, Harvard's black undergraduates are developing a body of literature in the form of student research papers. Aisha Haney, the undergraduate whose senior thesis Professor Garnier cited, said her research was prompted by the reaction from her black classmates when she told them that she was not from the West Indies or Africa, but from the Carolinas. Quote, period. They would say, no, where you really from? Said Miss Haney, 26, who earned a master's degree in public policy at Princeton and is now in medical school. So this is what made her do the study, because they were being hostile toward her. because she
Yep.
said she was from the Carolinas.
And then telling her, no, you're not. Where's your family really from? I just told you.
Right.
I'm not a generic African.
So she started going, what's up with all these big foreheads? All these weird last names and shit. Hold on, I need to do a study on this. Let me see what's going on here, because y'all asking me some weird questions.
Right.
I ain't never been asked no shit like this by no black people before. What's up with these Negroes? So she did her research. Marcus J. Redd, a 20-year-old from Macon, Georgia, who graduated in June, was one of the editors of Harvard's Black Student Guide, said that Harvard officials had discouraged them from collecting the data on who the black students were.
Interesting.
Do I need to read that again? Marcus J. Redd, a 20-year-old from Macon, Georgia, who graduated in June. He graduated at 20.
Wow.
This is a foundational Black American kid from Georgia. He graduated from Harvard at 20.
20.
In spite of all of this undermining
Right.
that we're seeing here. 20-year-old, he graduated. They said he was one of the editors of Harvard's Black Student Guide, and he said that Harvard officials had discouraged him from collecting the data on who black students were. These kids was delineating.
These kids were delineating. And if these institutions were really, really about diversity, then they would definitely deaggregate the data. You know what I'm saying? And stop lumping us in. Stop lumping us in if you're really about diversity.
Right. We need to know who's who. Just like the young man.
Let's really break it down.
I would like to talk to Marcus J. Redd today. I wonder where Marcus J. Redd is at today, because he's 40 years old now. He's 40 years old now. He was doing this. He was doing this in college 20 years ago. Man, but we thought it was quote, but we thought it was one aspect of the black experience at Harvard that should be documented, he said. The knowledge had power. It was something that needed to be put out in the open instead of something that people whispered about. Shout out to him.
We gotta research him.
Yeah, if anybody could find him on social media, send me his
name again?
And his DM. His name is Marquise J. Redd. Marquise J. Redd.
Marquise.
MARQES J. Redd with 2 D's. And he's he's from Macon, Georgia. He was 20 back then, but he's from Macon, Georgia. If anybody could find his Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn or whatever he's on,
we need to get him on the Godcast.
Please DM me.
We need to get him on the Godcast.
Let me see what y'all talking about in the chat. We ain't ignoring y'all. I was just trying to get through that article.
Why you not reading the chat? You know, what this just further emphasizes for me is that one, we're on the right path, and we need to continue to advocate for lineage-based cash reparations. There's no other way. There's no other way to get out of this hole that they put us in other than cash reparations.
Facts. He said, shout out to my brother Ish. He said you could get 6 in a possible in Harvard with $375K a year. $60K per year from 23 to 24 is how much it costs. That sounds like a minimum. That sounds like on the low end. 60K, that sounds like it's on the low end. It costs 60K to go to goddamn Georgia State.
Right.
So Harvard, that sounds like that's on the low end. Let me see what y'all talking about. He said Boulay, Skip Gates, been a coon for decades. Yeah, absolutely. Horacio Alger, yeah. Please post a link to that video of the African worshiping white people. I didn't post it yet. I'm gonna post it on my Instagram soon. I gotta edit it and all that, but I'm gonna post it on my Instagram soon. Make sure you follow me. I'm at Sincere Love to God on all social media platforms, and follow my co-host. She's at Nicety Girl with the #1 on Instagram and without the #1 on X, formerly known as Twitter. Make sure y'all following us. But yeah, I will be posting that video, and I got a couple other ones too that I'm gonna post. I got a series of them that I'm gonna post backing up what we're talking about here today. Let me see. Yes. Definitely make sure y'all hitting the like button, make sure y'all sharing this out and all of that. If you want to support, you can hit us up via the super chat or Cash App, $GodcastENT. That's $GodcastENT. All donations and super chats are appreciated and respected. Let me see here. Trying to go through the chat. Yeah, y'all. Yeah, this is real, y'all. This is real. And this is an older article. And I know I can't wait for our brother Tariq to go live because I sent him the article too. And so I know he's gonna go in.
Yeah.
I know he's gonna cook as well. While we're talking about this and that, nobody's talking about how the U.S. federal government just last week gave white people in New Mexico $100,000 in reparations and their descendants per person for what bombing? For a
Right.
bombing?
Bombing.
Said that was in New Mexico. What bombing are they getting reparations for? Let us know. I haven't heard about that one.
Me neither.
Dr. Anderson.
Go ahead.
I'm reading the chat. Go ahead. Say what you're gonna say.
I was gonna say, you see all these alleged white towns that's popping up that they're
Yes.
trying to build.
Yes.
It's crazy to me. White people are crazy, but what I feel like is more mind-boggling is when they were doing a lot of the news on this. A lot of the white people that were doing this were men that were in law enforcement.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody picked up on that.
Yeah. Former military, law
Yeah.
enforcement people, and all of that shit. They're building
Yeah.
they're building their own little white sanctuaries and all of that. Look, I don't got a problem with it. I say let them do them. You know what I'm saying?
I do. The reason why I do, because when we did, their people came over there and started with us. So
Right.
now y'all wanted us all together, we together. Unless we
Look,
can have the same with our reparations and y'all leave us the hell alone, then no, I don't feel like it's right. Nope.
I'm gonna tell you why I ain't got no problem with it. Actually, I like it because white people cannot survive in these white enclaves.
They're gonna eat each other up.
When they get in these white enclaves amongst themselves, they got all type of neurological issues, all type of incest goes on. These people get all type of weird diseases that nobody else can't get.
It's a whole lot of inbreeding gonna be going on.
Nature just takes its course. Nature starts to take its
Since you put
course.
it that way,
You
go
know what I'm
ahead,
saying?
guys. You know what? Do
Have
y'all
at,
need some help?
have at it. We don't even gotta come in and sabotage and undermine y'all. Mother Nature gonna do the trick. Y'all go ahead and do your thing. But somebody said Dr. Anderson did a 30-year study from 1960 to 1990 of the progressions of the Black community and found the progression of Black society didn't change. It got worse with more Blacks in government. You are absolutely right, Mark Anthony. Shout out to you.
Yeah, but what kind of Blacks were they? What we're learning is the kind of Blacks that were in government were not foundational Black Americans. Where are
Well, I
their
think the
families
influx.
from?
I don't think the influx of the Black immigrants didn't come until like the 80s. The influx, you had some here and there going back to the 60s and all of that, but the influx really came in the 80s. You know what I'm saying? SBA's complaining to the white man brought upon the 1965 Hart-Celler Immigration Reform Act that allowed all these tethers to come here. Say that louder for the people in the back.
Oh, they're only gonna complain when we started to delineate. Before, when we was all that on the Pan African train, they loved it because they're like, oh, we getting over on these niggas, and they don't even know.
Right.
They don't know what we're really trying to do.
Right. Man. But yeah, I thought that was real interesting. We had to cover that. I thought that was real interesting. When I came across that, I was like, wow. We late to the party, like I keep saying. We late to the party, man. But we right on time, though. We right on
I
time.
think Ish found our brother Marquise, and it's looking. No.
What, he got a white woman or something?
No, he got the flag up. The colorful one.
What, Pan-African flag?
No, the rainbow flag.
Oh, the rainbow flag. That's so what? He might still be our brother. He might still be our brother.
Um,
He might still be our. But we see how he got in, though. Now we
oh, and
know.
he posed. Now, come on,
Now
we
we know
can't do
how
that.
he got it. Wait, wait,
We ain't
wait.
gonna be able to do that with Brother Marquis. We ain't gonna be able to do that with Brother
Are
Marquis.
y'all sure that's him?
I
Y'all,
think
y'all,
this is.
y'all sure y'all got the right man?
We got the right man. Yeah,
Send me his at.
he
Send me
wearing African garb and everything too.
send me his at.
No, I'm about to DM it to you right now.
Oh man, don't tell me he got a white man.
Yes, looking that way.
Oh man, you was on point back in the days. What happened, brother?
Yes, it's looking that way. And then there's a in his on one of his pinned photos. I guess this is him doing his Harvard days. You know,
Well, we gonna see, but I give him the benefit of the doubt. I give it. Okay, this is Marquis Red. Is this him? Marquis Red. Marquis Red. Should I share his page? Share his profile? Y'all want to see his profile?
I mean, yeah.
All right, let's see. This is Marquis. I think this is the same Marquis Red. Shout out to my brother Ish for finding him real quick for us. Hold on. How do I? Wait. Share this tab. Boom. Shout out to my brother Ish.
He got something called African spirituality and queerness. Lord, Marquise is on something different. Marquise.
Oh man.
Yeah, take
Well,
that
we
over
found him,
there.
y'all. We found him. God damn, brother. All right.
Yeah,
Rainbow Serpent.
yeah,
So is this him right here with the
yeah.
locks?
Yeah, I believe that's him. Yeah.
Okay.
In the middle, yeah. Macon's Pride's pioneers and trailblazers.
Yeah. He was inducted into Macon Prize Pioneers and Trailblazers photo history exhibit at the Tubman Museum. I
Don't put
I
Bussy
delivered
Red.
my
Mm-mm.
talk, The River, the Gate, and the Return in the museum atrium. At the same time, a project I co-curated, Miracle, a selection from the Red Family collection of Black art, was on display upstairs. Gratitude to Macon Pride, the Tubman Museum, and storytellers Macon for creating space for our voices. Lord Jesus is a fire. Lord
Yes,
Jesus
sir.
is a fire. Look, man, I ain't got a problem with nobody's lifestyle. You know, that's not the issue here. Just to be clear, that's not the issue.
I'm going to his
It's not
website.
about your sexual preference. Do you as far as that's concerned, but you know, your socio political ideology is where the problem comes in at.
Yeah.
That's where it gets problematic.
Yeah, it looks like he's no longer on the delineation or, trail. His work now is just for his community.
All right. Well, shout out to
Yeah.
my brother Ish for finding that real quick.
Yeah. With his dashiki, he can keep that on and take that over there.
LGBTQ history exhibit. Okay, yeah, he's all the way locked in.
Locked.
He's all the way locked in. Okay. And this is the problem when they latch so-called LGBTQ history onto Black history, and then all the resources go to the white LGBT community. This is how they
Right.
legitimize themselves by latching themselves onto our history and our struggle.
He has a documentary
What's it called?
it's called Miracles, the Reed Family Collection
That's what he was
of
talking
Black
about.
Art. It's on
Yeah, that's what he
YouTube.
was talking about.
Yeah.
That's what he was talking about. Okay. I'm just going through his page. Seeing what's going on here. But hey, it is what it is.
I mean, it
It
is
is
what
what
it
it
is.
is.
He was on code with the article we are
Right.
talking about. He's on something that 21 years later, he's moved on and to other
They
things.
pulled him to the side and pointed out some other
Right.
issues of interest, and he was more interested in the other issues. So there's that.
Yeah. Yeah.
We blacks effed up
Wow.
bad in California. Could have stopped this whole thing 35 years ago. Proposition 187 would have went nationwide if it wasn't for our dumb black butts out here. I don't know what he's talking about. You know what he's talking about?
Me neither. No. But I'm gonna look it up.
Shout out to Larry D. Shout out to V4 Vengeance in the building. Appreciate y'all tapping in. We about to get out of here in a second, man. But before we do, y'all again, make sure y'all like, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. If you're watching this on the replay, leave us some comments in the comment section. Let us know what you think about today's topic.
He's right.
What's that about?
He's right. So, Proposition 187 was a California ballot initiative approved by voters in 1994 that aimed to deny undocumented immigrants access to public social services, healthcare, and education. It also mandated state and local agencies to report suspected undocumented immigrants to federal immigration authorities. While approved by voters, the proposition faced immediate legal challenges and was ultimately blocked by the courts as unconstitutional. So it wasn't us, it was the courts. The people were on board.
It got shot down by the courts.
By the courts. It says that while approved by voters, so the voters were okay with it, the proposition faced immediate legal challenges and was ultimately blocked by the courts as unconstitutional.
I wonder what was the grounds. I wonder what was the grounds that they used. It probably most likely dealt with the language that was used.
It says denial of services, reporting requirements, legal challenges. Let me see. The proposition faced numerous legal challenges, primarily arguing that it infringed on federal authority over immigration and violated the Equal Protection Clause under the 14th
So they were,
Amendment.
Okay.
Our amendment.
Okay, so
Yeah.
they were using our history
Right.
to protect non-citizens.
Them. Right. Now we have, President Trump who's saying, wait a minute, the 14th Amendment was not for everybody. It was for the black babies. The black babies, the slaves.
And they were saying that it was they were overstepping their authority because this was really, controlled by the federal courts. The federal government really had the jurisdiction to make this call or not. So you can't really do this locally on the state level. So I see what they were doing there. But yo, good call out, Larry D. Good call out, Larry D. Yep.
94.
It was the federal. It was the federal court. It was the federal court.
Yeah.
Man. So yeah, man. A lot of this stuff. Hold on. I'm trying to take this stuff off here.
But you know what? Once it was blocked, that's when he's right. Black people specifically and our elected officials at that time should have pushed harder. No. The 14th Amendment was not for everyone to come over and benefit from, and it wasn't.
Larry D is saying because of the high black vote against it is what put it to the courts. So he's saying too many black people were against it, and that's how it ended up being the court's decision in the first place. They could have just passed it through if black people were on board, is what it sounds like he's saying. But that sounds about right. Especially in 1994, we definitely was fighting for immigrants and everybody under the sun.
Which is crazy.
We definitely was doing that. So that sounds about right. Man, all right, we've been on here for a minute, y'all. Appreciate y'all rocking with us, man, as always. I haven't gotten to do my broadcast follow-up talking about the new albums that I'm rocking with right now. I've been meaning to go live to talk about this Raekwon album and this Clips album and the overall topic that I really want to get into is the difference between a classic and a masterpiece. I'm still going to do that. I just haven't had a chance to do it. You know what I mean? A lot been going on. Kids getting ready to go back to school down here and all of that. You know what I mean? So been real busy. So I'm going to try to do it one day this week. So y'all make sure y'all stay tuned for that. I really want to get into that, not just for the sake of talking about those albums, which I definitely want to talk about those albums, but the overall thing, like I said, is breaking down the difference between, in my opinion, the difference between a classic and a masterpiece. And so y'all stay tuned for that later on this week, hopefully. 7 about to come back home and all of that too. Like I said, school getting back. So yeah, we gonna get it popping. But that's about it. You got anything else before we get out of here?
No, I was just looking on here who I'm trying to see who supported the Prop 87 bill by race. And by race, it was split slightly. 40 to 45% of Black voters supported it.
It should have been 100%.
So it should have been white people were first in support of it, then Black people, then Asians.
In support of it?
In support of that bill of the Prop 187.
Interesting.
So white people 63 to 65% voted yes, and Black voters 40 to 45%.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I agree with what our brother is saying. We dropped the ball on that one. One. Right.
Bring it back.
Now's a good time too. I don't know about California. California might not be the place, but you know what I mean?
Right.
Anyway, family, that does it for today's episode of Sincere Love the Godcast. Always appreciate y'all tapping in with us. Always remember, family, never forget, we are not the master teachers, but we are the master students and signal boosters for the voices of the new Black media. We out of here. Peace and Black love. Y'all go get that. Go get that.